All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And this will be number 234. Okay, I have to keep track. And shout out to Toronto, Canada, on rss.com. I see you listening and downloading. All right, I hope it's helpful. That's what I do it for. To help people stay. And especially this week has been good. And this one is good too. So I fell asleep last night. Actually it was the computer, needed a update. And you know how sometimes it just does it and it says don't close for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. So I said, oh, let me just rest my eyes. 2 hours later I woke up. But the update was done, so everything's good. So yes, I'm doing this now. That's why this is coming up now. And it is Friday, and so far there's not a whole lot of news out. So this may be the only post I do for today, or maybe I'll do another one, my regular time. But anyway, so yeah. So this is my FX Buddies, and there are multiple mediums on which you can engage with this content. The anywhere that I post as my FX Buddies, except on YouTube. But so the best way, and you're gonna want to go to the blog because I have some pictures. Well, a picture. I have a picture of a show and some of the stuff they were talking about. So, and I always hold that to the end, and it's always at the bottom of the blog. All right, so let's see. So how you would get to the blog, wherever you are interacting with this content, look for prompts of myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, but that's too much to remember or type in. So wherever you are, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature, and either another box pops up or something. So then you'll see link to my FX Buddies, or you'll just see the link, HTTPS, blah, blah, blah. And you click on that and you're there. And it's a free blog. You don't have to put your email in, and I don't sell anything. You click on that link and you'll be right there. And why would you go there? Because the whole article is there. And I have a link to the full actual article. And so sometimes I'll have another video or something and it'll be there. So that's why you would want to go to the blog. All right, so let's get into it. So this will be news for Thursday, October 16th. So you see the title. The Minister of Finance presents Iraq's Vision 2050 to the world in Washington. Yeah, and that's not clickbait. That is exactly what happened. So the Minister of Finance reviews Iraq's economic situation and reform programs in Washington. And here's another headline. Iraq presents its economic vision for 2050 to the world. And so here she is. There she is at the meeting. And there they have her sitting there just looking like she's a regular participant, right? But if you read, now this article's long. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because it's very long. You see, I'm still scrolling there, okay? But it's almost like they were the main focus. So this is an annual meeting that takes place. World Bank and International Monetary Fund. So it's going on. the 13th through the 18th, okay? So Minister Miss Sami, because I don't know how to say her first name, discussed Iraq's economic situation, reform programs, and maximizing revenues during meetings in Washington on Thursday. So there's a statement from her office. There's articles about it. I don't think they talked about it on on their TV, but yeah. So here it is. It's in a lot of their news, though. It's on a lot of the news posts that she's there, and she's had prominent meetings. There's a delegation. And so the meeting discussed the economic situation in Iraq and the role of the World Bank in supporting Iraq in its reform programs, particularly in maximizing revenues, reducing expenditures, digitization, electronic systems, and new projects with the World Bank in infrastructure, energy, environment, water, and human capital. So you see, this is the annual meeting where they're all there. Well, at least G20, right? And then coinciding with this is the G20 meetings actually are in, I don't know where they are, but you could look that up in the regular news. But yeah, so they're there discussing global economic challenges. And Iraq is there. And I'll go down. There's more. Like I said, if you are wanting to feel, gain some confidence that the world, at least the equivalent, right, of finance ministers and all that, right? Because like we have a treasury, we don't have a finance ministry, right? So they were all there discussing and evaluating economic situation in Arab countries. So yeah, all right. So they talked about other stuff, some of the stuff, obvious that I don't talk about. So during the meeting, Her Excellency presented Iraq Vision 2050, which aims to reduce dependence on oil, empower the private sector, promote inclusive growth. So this is that agenda, right? I'm always telling you, look at Agenda 2030, 2050, right? All of those things are in there with that. She added that this includes continuing to support the electronic system and digital transformation of Iraqi customs operations. Think ISCUDA, that system, as well as continuing the Iraqi government's reforms and building a modern, diversified economy that benefits all its people. So, yeah. Iraqi delegation agenda also included participation in a meeting with the executive director of the IMF, during which the spotlight was placed on specific reforms to improve the performance of the financial sector in Iraq. Then here, she conducted a meeting. Ms. Sami held a coordination meeting with the head of the IMF Fund's mission to Iraq, Jean-Claude. The meeting addressed discussions on prospects for Iraqi economic growth through the government's reform program aimed at strengthening the oil and non-oil, blah, 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 right? So she was probably giving an update to him, saying, looky here, look at all this stuff we've done. Can you let our rate go now? Can you work with us, right? But yeah, so they had that meeting. She expressed her readiness to provide technical support and training. Iraq wants to provide technical support and training on these systems for customs and tax employees, in addition to discussing the completion of the requirements, and blah, 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 right? So then and I don't know why it switches up. It says they discussed, she expressed her readiness, and then it jumps to he. He continued. So, maybe the S is missing, but I also proposed providing technical support on retirement and Social Security, and a report on reform proposals for this sector will be submitted to the Iraqi government. So that's why I do think it's him, because he's saying this is what I'll submit to you. So there was more. These annual meetings bring together central bank governors, ministers of finance and development, private sector executives, representatives of civil society organizations, and academics to discuss issues of global importance. So there were people from all around the world there, and she presented, this is where we are and this is our vision. So I think that's awesome. All right, and then Mr. Mohammed Saleh, who is the Prime Minister's financial advisor, he also is here, but he was in a different place. Hold on, I'm getting a text. Yeah, those are nothing new. Okay. It's a different time. I'm in work mode right now. But I gotta do this now. Okay, so the central bank is leading a comprehensive shift towards reform. Now, this one here, this article here does not say he's at the, let's see, accordance with, but there is an article, he's at the, what's that, the Ritz-Carlton. He's at the Ritz-Carlton in Washington or wherever it is. And let's see, Prime Minister affirmed on Thursday that Iraq's commitment to international standards paves the way for the return of dollar transactions, attracting foreign investment, and expanding financial inclusion. He emphasized that the banking reform process is ongoing and irreversible. You know what? Actually, I think I read this. I know. See, you know why I get confused? Because, see, you guys are my side. You're my thing on the side. I got another place. I got a main thing, you know. And then you guys are my thing on the side. My main thing is closed, right? Not everyone can get access to that. So, and that's originally how this started. And I go over the same things and I forget it because it all runs together. So actually, this is really not what I want to read to you right now. Yeah, I think okay, so maybe I put this here for a reason though. Okay, so here's the other one. I'll probably delete this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna delete this because this is the same article. Okay, so you're going through this with me. All right, let me see. You know what? I'm just going to pause. Hold on. Rather than make you work through something with me, I'm going to put you on pause. Hold on. All right. So forgive me for that. Okay. So I'm going to leave this article here because this is good. There's only one thing in here that I don't understand. And I'm hoping to get an answer. It says they're doing all this stuff so they can return to the dollar. Return to using the dollar. But I think what it means is in business transactions, right? Because right now they are banned. That's what they're banned from, doing trade, right? international trade with dollars with other countries, right? So I'm hoping that's what it means. Let's see. Let's find that part real quick. Oh, well, it won't pop up. Maybe because I'm recording. Anyway, all right. So the one that I want to talk about is this one. Sudani's advisor, Mohammed Saleh. Oh, you know what? It's not. You see how crazy I am? I'm so used to it being Mohammed Saleh. And it says Saleh here, but it's not. It's a totally different man. So then the first article is Mohammed Saleh in Iraq, okay? So this one is Saleh Mahmoud Salman. He is here in America, and he is at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Washington, D.C., on the sidelines of the meetings of the IMF and the World Bank. So, that's my phone. What is he discussing? They're continuing to implement comprehensive strategic banking reforms, noting that the government is committed to continuing to implement the economic and financial reform program. Okay, we gotta hurry up because we're almost at 20 minutes. So you can read that, but I just wanted to see he's talking, I wanted you guys to see how they've implemented the United Nations ASCUDA system. They're restructuring their government banks, right? So there they are again with people from their profession around from the world, right? Presenting their case for why they deserve to get their rate changed. That's what I'm saying, right? That's not what it says there, but all right. And now look at this. Why would they run an article like this? How did a Gulf nation barely bigger than Nagaland? I never heard of that. It was in Nancy A, G as in George A, and then land, build the world's most powerful currency. So you could read this if you like. It's talking about Kuwait. It's Kuwait, a tiny powerhouse. The oil wealth advantage. Excuse me, my phone goes off all day long. Okay. But here, strategic currency pegging, and it explains the Kuwaiti dinar's high value is maintained through a strategic peg to a basket of international currencies rather than a single currency like the US dollar. And then here's other stuff. So this is pure education for the citizens, right? Saying, hey, there's Kuwait's currency. Look at that. And you're next, maybe. But what timing, right? For them to have that out. Okay, so this is the article that is actually Mohammed Saleh. Yep. And this is from yesterday. All right. The central bank is leading a comprehensive shift towards reform. And everything is good. It's all good. Here we go. Now it's working. Dollar. Let's see if I can get there. Return of dollar transactions. They have gotten to international standards, and that paves the way for the return of dollar transactions and more, right? Other things too. So, all right. So here's just 2 articles about Maliki. I always post things about Maliki because there's people who like to read about him. And he met with the Charge d'Affaires, Joshua Harris, and they talked about elections and the overall status of the Strip and the relation between us and them. And then also, I thought this was interesting. He gave a speech And he said, we want all of Iraq's money to be spent on the well-being of the people. And I said, yeah, that's why you were stuffing all that money in the airplane, trying to get it out the country. But here, so we'll skip that because now we're running out of time. Here is also saying we will switch to the financial management law in the absence of 2026 budget. And you could read that. It doesn't give anything about rate or date or anything. Just saying, don't worry, we'll have your salaries covered. It's not unconstitutional if they don't do the budget, you know, all of that. Alright, so here, if you'd like to support my FX buddies, these are the way to do it. When this blog is live, Buy Me a Coffee will be a live link. Cash App is always live. $, Tishwash is my Cash App handle, and PayPal is Tishwash. Big or small, I appreciate it all. Thank you in advance for your generosity. Alright, here, this is interesting. The government, it's about gold, and it says dollar alternative. That's like the little subtitle they had. The government is out of the equation. Gold swallows the Iraqi dinar and turns into a currency for money laundering. So when you read this, it even talks about purchasing power. It even talks about purchasing power. There. So let me do this though. Let me finish. Because I thought it said it twice. Purchasing power. No? I guess just this once. So it talks about that and also compares it to Kuwait. Again, they're comparing them. Oh, wait. No. What the heck? This is all, well, you know, whatever. I'm doing things out of my regular time. But I know in here it talks about the purchasing power. So why wouldn't it pick it up here? The search function isn't working right. Let me do that. Power, power, power. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Alright, now I'm all out of order again. Hold on. Alright, my bad. They talked about the exchange rate. See, confidence in the dinar. Okay, so what's happening, and I think I talked about this on another episode, but this is a more detailed, more in-depth article. But so right here, you see it says, in light of this scene, so it's talking about how it goes into a lot of detail, how central banks are buying gold, the effect that gold prices are having on the London market, and the New York market for gold, which they don't even really matter anymore, right? But anyway, so it gets down here and it says, in light of this scene, citizens are increasingly buying gold as a means of saving, with confidence in the dinar declining and its exchange rate fluctuating against the dollar. So I was thinking maybe they held off because, you know, a couple of groups were expecting the rate to change earlier this week, even to the point where I was asked to look for certain articles saying certain things because they were expecting them to come out, and people were looking for an announcement and something else. There was something else, but there were some things that happened that one guy got he got taken out. Remember, I talked about that. The really popular representative. He got taken out, and Baghdad wanted a 3-day mourning period, but they didn't do that. But it was still pretty devastating to the country. And something else happened. Oh, there's something going on with the peace deal, right? I don't know if they've talked about it on United States news, but yeah, there's something going on with that. And something else happened, which so then I was like, well, you know, gold hit 43 plus $100. And I was like, well, maybe they're like, well, let's wait for gold to settle down. Maybe there's too much, what's the word? It's fluctuating too much, and they wouldn't, because you know, some people think the dinar is going to be gold back. And who knows, they might be right. I don't think it is, but some people may think that. So I was like, well, maybe because gold is going up and down so much, they held off. They said, wait a minute, let's wait till gold gets settled, right? But I was assured, no, that is not the case. So yeah. So with gold increasing, there's losing confidence in the national currency. So I don't like that. And you can see this is a long article. I can't even front. It's really long, but very educational. So then here, oil is faltering and religion is rising. An expert warns of a financial crisis and calls for bold decisions that protect the poor. This is a good article also. Washington sanctions expose Iraq's shadow economy. And in Iraq's shadow economy, even compliance has become a racket. And here's another. Why is that picture there twice? Forgive me. So here's another article that they talked about some of the same things, but the title was The Dark Side of Iraq's Economic Boom, that Baghdad's skyline was rising on a foundation of dirty money. Washington confirmed it. So that's in light of that scandal. They just, I know, scandal sounds like such a hoity-toity word. Fraud, smuggling, whatever, right? They just uncovered with those brothers. And remember, it went to Rafidan Bank, and it went to even the Central Bank of Iraq. So yeah, so you see how long that is? But if you like things like, and I know 3 people who already have seen that because they told me, you should read this. All right, so here, now we're almost done. Okay, here's the this is the background, that's what it is. So this is the host of the show right here. I couldn't get the title of the show. See that? Normally that will show in English, but it didn't this time. So I couldn't get the title, but there's the background, and these are screens. They can put any image there they want. So this guy was talking. This is some of the stuff that scrolled across the bottom of the screen. And this might be the title of the show, but it doesn't make any sense. Valid duty? I don't know. So this is someone's name. It may be the host. It may be that guy that was sitting on the couch. I don't know. Without addressing the financial deficit, deleting zeros is a formality. And then here, the duty of honesty. So this is kind of like valid duty. So the person who's doing this for me, translating this for me, you know, I just have to, hey, I'm thankful and I get what I get, right? But this might be the title of the show. Removing zeros from currency, an old talk, a new debate, right? And then the central bank is saying, we have decided to open 10 digital exchanges. So then also, here's another thing. This is a video. This is Sadani. And I'm sure this is just a snippet. All right. and it's only 43 seconds. But here, I'll read this to you, and then we're going to be done, okay? So it says, Sadani, from Babylon, we renew the pledge that Iraq is first. So when this is a live blog, you'll be able to click this button, and it'll play. From Babylon, the Mahdi of civilization and will. Today we announce the renewal of the pledge that Iraq will remain first. This is our slogan, this is our approach, and these are our priorities. Iraq first. In construction, in services, in security and stability. In our relations with all countries of the world, Iraq first. Yes, yes, to Iraq. Yes, to Iraq. Yes, yes, to Iraq. And then it says God. Okay, so, yeah, isn't that neat? So he's seriously out campaigning for his job, his second term, right? All right, so sorry about all the confusion. I hope if you rewind and play back that it will be a little less confusing. But like I said, I wanted to get this out this morning in case there's a necessity to do one tonight, right? Then at least you'll have like a 12-hour break in between. All right, so thank you. This was an exciting week, right? The talk of removing the zeros, and the exchange rate stuff, and yeah, just really good. The fact that they're here in America, the world is here, and they're telling them about all that they've done. I really like it. Okay, so let's see what happens over the weekend, and if not, if I don't do another post, goodbye to those of you who leave for the weekend and come back Monday. We'll do it all over again. All right, so again, please hit the thumbs up button. And, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Both of those actions are free to you, and they help me a lot. Enjoy the rest of... Oh, no. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.